Hello, and welcome back to the Make It Count podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, I interview builders, people that have built charities, people, infrastructures, and we stream live, no editing. So do me a favor, wherever you're watching, go ahead and click subscribe. The bigger the audience gets, the more people we can reach. Now, for today, this is someone really special to me. Today's guest is Greg Johnson. He's the founder of Night of Superstars, which is a children's charity. For nearly 2 decades, Greg has built a platform that puts students and young adults with special needs on a red carpet and gives them the room a better standard for what achievement looks like. What began as a small event in 2005 has grown into a mission tied to dignity, visibility, mentorship, scholarships, and opportunity after the applause. Greg has stayed close enough to the mission to build something that keeps reaching families long after the lights go down. Greg, welcome, if I can get my button here, to the podcast.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. You know me well enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So as well as we know each other, it's been going, we're actually 17 years. How long we've known each other.
Yeah,
yes, right least. There.
Yeah.
Everyone doesn't necessarily know who you are, though. So tell the people who are watching about you.
Well, I'm the founder of Night of Superstars, as you mentioned, and then which is a red carpet Oscar-like gala that recognizes the achievements of special needs kids, and of course, our main goals is to raise money for their scholarships, college, trade school, life skills training institutions, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So what I do to pay the bills, my wife and I are both realtors and real estate investors, residential, and we have cumulatively have probably 42 years in the industry.
Wow.
So we both became realtors in 2006.
I was about to say, it wasn't 2026.
No. Well, we got good quick.
And now you all focus in what area? Like, what is your primary market?
Dallas, Fort Worth.
Okay.
But, if you've got a nice home in Austin or San Antonio that needs a list agent, I'll do that as well.
There you go.
It pays off well.
Yeah, you'll go down certain places you can travel to.
Yes, yeah. So that's basically it. I'm a stepfather to 2 brilliant young men. That's not much to me.
Oh, please! You always try to say that for sure.
Well,
and of course, your wife is stunning and just as humble as you are.
Well, she's much more stunning than I am. That's without question.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I'm going to jump in here a little bit.
Yes.
So Night of Superstars, like we talked about, is a charity.
Right.
Which is something that was born out of an idea that something that was given to you in 2005.
Yes.
And I know this isn't on there. Tell us a little bit about how that vision came to be.
Yeah, I'm going to try to wrap this up because it's such a kind of long, detailed story that to me, every detail seems so important for some reason. But people always tell me you could have shortened that by about 30 minutes. I'm like, all right. So I'll try to make it quick. In 2005, I'd been involved with the community for countless years, probably since I was in my mom's womb. I mean, because we were very active through the church, and I wouldn't necessarily call it volunteering since she had to take me with her anyway. So, but as I grew older, of course, I became more involved with the community on my own. I was volunteering for an event called All Kids Count, which is hosted by Love for Kids, which is a Bill Barrett Foundation. And anyway, I was heading out there, and it was a ranch day for special needs kids and especially medically fragile children. Mm-hmm. And as I was driving out there, I found myself like really pumped to be there, like I always did, the years past. And I just started thinking, I was like, God, what's the why am I so pumped to be here? And I started thinking about the kids. I was like, I just realized that it was when I do that, when I get involved, it just refuels my tank, more emotionally than anything. We get caught up so much in our day-to-day problems and the stresses, and you really get winded. Sometimes you want to quit, sometimes, but then you go out there and you see these kids, and they are, like I said, medically fragile. They're disabled in some other sort, whether it's physically or neurologically.
Yeah.
And speaking with the parents, when you're visiting with the parents and they start telling you about their kid, and the stories are amazing. And I'm like, wait a second, are you telling me that kid right there is doing all these things that surpass most, if not, the large majority of normal kids? I just did the air quotes. You couldn't see.
Well, yeah, because you just kids that don't have those same challenges.
Yeah.
Right. They're not having to overcome a physical, a mental challenge.
Yeah. And that's true for countless adults.
Sure.
And I'm like, and it's humbling, because you're like, how's that kid doing so much? And I'm pissing and moaning over here about the little things on my plate, when they have far greater issues that they have to deal on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so going out there and hearing these stories just always got pumped by it. Anyway, I was in really deep thought about this, and I was going out to the west side of Flower Mound from Dallas, and I literally couldn't remember a turn I took.
Oh, wow.
I was in that deep of thought, and I kind of came to, and I was thinking about a lot of things, and one of the things I was thinking about was like, do these kids
sofa running joke for Greg and I. He's clearly very emotionally invested, so oftentimes it can be difficult to go there because, of course, right, it brings you in emotionally. So as a coach, sofa's a distraction, which just kind of helps Greg get his
sorry.
There's nothing to apologize for. So you're in deep thought. You're headed to West Flower Mound.
Yes, thank you.
You get to Flower Mound.
Yeah, circle our ranch out there, and I was thinking, I wonder if these kids have any clue as to what kind of impact I don't know why God lets me get emotional like this, because then it wastes everybody's time. But
it's not wasting anybody's time.
I was thinking, these kids have any clue what kind of impact they have on like complete strangers? Their parent, they're so used to, their parents and the community surrounding them, taking care of them. And I was just thinking, it's a tragedy that they think they're the ones that are taken. They're the ones taking all the time for people around them.
And it's the love.
The reason I get so emotional, Tanya, is because of the geez, this is nuts. 21 years later, 22 years later,
Yeah.
but the impact they've had on my life.
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine what my life would be like without them.
Well, what's interesting is, whenever you started it, when the Lord put it on your heart, and you're like, we're going to do this, typically a scenario like that is motivated by a parent, right? Who has a child who has overcome, who's had this scenario. And then that parent goes out and starts the scenario. You weren't even a parent at the time, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that unique attribute, and then coupled with how many superstars now have
hundreds,
hundreds, right?
Yeah, hundreds.
For the community to be
And
blessed with.
thanks for pulling me out of that downward spiral. Let me digress.
Not a downward spiral, but you got a lot. You got such a big heart, and I'm going to make sure that people get to be served and hear it from you.
Yeah. Well, so when I pull up to the event, the guy's waving us into this big pasture to park in, and that's when I kind of snapped. And I thought, I realized I was in like super deep thought, and I thought that's divine at that point, because I couldn't remember taking a turn the whole way.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I actually pulled in, I parked, and I looked up. I literally looked up, and I go, "What's that all about? Why are you laying this on me?" And all of a sudden, I thought, well, do something about it. If you're so worked up about these kids not realizing what an impact they have on people, do something to put something together to make it happen. And I thought, well, I was like straightforward with God, and I was like, what do you want me to do about it? What am I supposed to do? And all of a sudden, I thought, I go, well, host an event. That's what you like to do, host events. So I was going to host an event. And I thought, okay, so this is before Hollywood went absolutely nuts. This is 25 years ago. They were already nuts, but it just went out in the public on thing. But anyway, so I thought, what's the biggest night in television? Well, the academies. So I thought, and I looked at them. I looked up again and go, that's a great idea. That's what we'll do. We'll put on a big Academy Awards where everybody feels beautiful and accepted and popular. And we'll do that. And the kids are going to be the celebrities.
Yeah.
And so I went in, did our thing, worked with kids all day. Then we went, a lot of us like Terry Duke and Sandy, and we all would go to a little pub after the event and unwind. So we had a pint. So I brought it up. I said, hey, I was just thinking today, what if we were to put together this event and the kids are the superstars? We got them all dolled up. And they're like, that's fabulous. Let's do it. And so I was like, I go, now what I get myself into? So I said, what do I need? Well, I need a venue. I can get a venue donated. We need tuxedos, dresses, hair, makeup, limos. That's about it. And I said, I can get all those things donated for sure. Yeah. And so I went and got them all donated and got the kids together. And our very first, we hosted them from conception of the idea. 6 weeks later, we're hosting the event at Studio Movie Grill in Plano. And I mean, it was awesome, absolutely awesome. And so that's how that kind of all came together. And today that was all free. Today, the event cost us around $80,000 to host. And we have from 100 guests, we host guests up to 700 people. And so that's kind of that's the power of God. And, probably my biggest testimony is just when God's going to come to you in a burning bush sort of way, like he did me. It wasn't a burning bush. It was like I was time traveling somewhere, and then I snapped back, present time. But when that happens, follow it. I had no idea, because if I had seen what the event was going to be, multiple cities, and this many people, and having to fundraise so much money,
Yeah.
If I had seen that, if God had given it to me at that scale, what his vision is, full vision was, instead of this little thing, I can get hair and makeup, I can get tuxedos and dresses, I can
Yeah.
get a venue, it's going to be a small, cute little event. He gave it to me in like this much of a fraction. Otherwise, I would have gone, man, that's a great idea. Somebody should do that.
Yeah.
Not me,
Right.
but I should do that, because there's no way I can go out there and raise tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for an organization. I don't have that type of reach. I just didn't, especially at that time. So that's probably my biggest testimony, is just go with what God gives you, because there's probably something much larger on the other side. His vision is far greater than he's going to reveal to you, because most of us would go, that's a great idea, someone should do that. So.
Well, I remember 2009 going into 2010. I hadn't volunteered for anything in quite some time, and it was on my heart. I knew that it was going to involve children. And so I was going to some different local charity events, right? Because I thought, got to see what resonates. And you assume, there's this assumption that you're going to go to this event and these kids are going to be sad, and it's going to be a sad, somber event. And in attending it since 2010, these kids are so joyous. They're such go-givers, right? Even within one another. And haven't some relationships come out of it between these kids?
You mean like romantic?
Yes.
Romantic. Yeah.
I've personally seen it. Well, I've been watching them go up, and I'm like, wait, hey, what's happening?
Especially
here?
when the dancing starts. Yeah. That's when the connections are made.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things for Night of Superstars as well, and I want to get back into your story too, for sure, is that it's all volunteer, right? If you go and you're looking for places to serve or to give your money, so much of it has to go to these marketing plans and to these other aspects, people, staff that need to be paid. Everybody for Night of Superstars is a volunteer.
Right. 100% volunteer run organization. And again, I don't want to turn this into a big preaching ministry or whatever, and, shove my beliefs down people's throats. But it is absolutely a God thing that this event happens on such a large scale with such a small amount of people. Now, the volunteers, the sponsors, all that is obviously important, but the meat and the logistics, the filming and everything of the superstars and the interviews and their documentaries, bringing volunteers together. I mean, it is the work literally of what most known for, a big black tie, red carpet gala with all the bells and whistles and 700 guests. Generally take a nonprofit, several committees of, at least 20, 30 people, divided amongst different committees. And Kathy Eyes handles all the logistics. She and her daughter handle all the logistics, the day of the event, all the volunteer training, everything. And we have like other little trainers, but she's got 95% of it. All the stuff prior to the event. Actually, the event is my day off almost, because all my work has already been done with trying to raise money, organize the event, work with hotels and stuff like that. So basically, of course, we have dozens of volunteers at the event. We have, I have people out there helping raise money like you. But I mean, it's for the two of us really to be organizing the event and making it happen, especially even with the pre-events leading up to that. It's God. And, it's like the 7 loaves and 5 fish. whichever it was. I get
the bread and the fish. The bread and the fish.
It was so long ago, I can't remember. It's like 2,000 years ago. I can't remember that far back, the details. But it's like the bread and the fish. I mean, Jesus, was able to do so much with so little. And again, that goes back to my testimony. If you feel a calling to something, just start, just get it going. And if it's a God thing, it's going to happen, and God's going to surround you with the right people, which he has us. I mean, it's just insane to think that we host, Kathy and I will host, Dallas and Houston, in the same year. Yeah. And we were up in St. Louis for 10 years. And so it's just insane what God can do through very few people, even a single person. It's just insane.
Yeah. Now, if people in other cities, because as it has gone out to other cities, my optics is it tends to be parents who are in that sort of circle,
right?
Right, that are inspired and they're like, I want to bring this for my kids and their friends. Right. But then that tends to kind of phase out a little bit at some point. Not in a bad way. It just almost as though that season for that city is kind of the sun is set. What does it take if somebody's in Nashville, Tennessee, or Tampa, Florida, and they hear your mission, they hear about the event, and they want that in their city? What would they need to do? What does that look like to
call me?
Call you? Okay.
Call me. Yeah. Or call me. That's how we were in St. Louis for 10 years is they heard about the event through Jason Ashley.
I say that's how I heard about it originally. I was a guest of his.
Oh yeah, that's right. And they just called me and said, "Hey, we want to do this. Would you come up here and help us do it?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And that went on for 10 years until they kind of retired, and it just never, I wasn't up there to have boots on the ground, so they just kind of retired it after 10 years. But they were in the real estate business too, so it seems like us realtors find time to do a lot of things. How is that?
I was going to say the family that comes to mind for me in Florida own a real estate firm currently as well, or in the replay. I dropped a link to the website in the comments. So in the Night of Superstars website, is there a contact page where they can fill out or no?
No, but you're welcome to. I can give them my.
You want to give it? I'll type it.
info@nightofsuperstars.org.
Okay.
And then my number is 214-714-2450. So in the case like in St. Louis, they called me and said they wanted to do this in their city, and have their real estate company host it, put it together, provide volunteers, whatever needed. Right. And so I flew up there, spent a few days with them, jamming the blueprint down their throats, and they pulled it off, and they pulled it off big. It was great, So I mean, the blueprint is fairly simple. We could literally go into a place like Tampa or Nashville, which was on our map for a while. And if we had $80,000, we could probably start it off a little smaller scale, in a new city, probably get it done for maybe $65,000. And this is out of hotel, of course, but we could literally host the 3 or 4 months at the scale we're at now.
Well, and I think part of for the investment in the event isn't, to your point, not just the day of the event; it's the production prior.
Right. Yes.
Right. It's interviewing the families, interviewing the superstars,
selecting the superstars. Yeah.
Yeah. They stay at the hotel, so they really get an entire glam day.
Oh yeah.
Right, of preparation, and then I've seen those kids running around the hotel at 1:00 in the morning, which why was I up at 1:00? I have no idea.
And because you're probably shut down the event with us.
Way past my bedtime. These kids just rolling around. Like, wow. Yes. So Superstars, if you guys haven't been, you should come. the website's there. Let's see. When did you realize that this Night of Superstars was going to require more than one powerful night?
Because I was, I don't want to cuss on him, but I was looking like a big a-hole. In 2005, after we hosted the event, we had 100 of our friends show up, and through supporters of charitable causes, Terry. Anyway, so our network, we had 100 people there, and people actually showed up, and like, it was on a Sunday afternoon. People were showing up in flip-flops and flip-flops and shorts and just whatever they were wearing on a Sunday afternoon. Some dressed up, but all the kids were all in formal outfits. And anyway, so the event was great. But it was, we didn't have programs. We didn't have trophies, awards. We didn't do anything. It was just come get the kids on the red carpet, cheer them down the red carpet, and fawn all over them while we're sitting in the bar at Studio Movie Grill. And then after we fawn all over them, ask them for their pictures. And they were actually autographing bar naps for us, bar napkins.
Hey, you know what? It was the inspiration to because to this day they sign in the book what their story is and has their boxer signature.
Yeah, but we didn't have money for programs, so we just, here, sign a napkin for me. Yeah. And then after about an hour of hanging out with the kids in the bar, it is Texas, so that's standard, I guess. But hanging out with the kids in the bar. Anyway, after that, my deal with Studio Movie Grill was that the kids and their families got a free movie and dinner. Nice. And so after the movie, it was over, and that was that. Anyway, I thought, wow, that was fun. That was awesome. And then 2006 is when I got my real estate license, and the event was supposed to be one and done. And then around the same time in 2006, friends were going, hey, I haven't heard about Night of Superstars. When are you going to do that? And I had kind of a blank look on my face, and I'm going, well, you're going to do it, right? I was like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't we? I was already off on another thing, doing real estate.
Got pulled back in.
And I didn't realize that people were as crazy about it as, I was, And so they're going, you're going to do it, right? I was like, well, yeah, of course. And I already had all the pieces in place. So no kidding, 4 weeks later, from not even it being on my radar, 4 weeks later, we're hosting the event again at Studio Movie Grill.
Yeah.
But this time I'd called a friend of mine over at Fox 4, Heather Hayes. I'm sure you know who she is. Anyway, I called her and I said, hey, this is kind of, instead of having 100, we had like 250 people registered, right? I called Heather and I go, hey, this is actually kind of turning into something. Would you come in and we'll put together a little program, and you can go up there on stage and introduce the kids or something. We'll make it a production. And still no awards, still no programs for the kids to autograph or anything like that. It was still basically the same concept. We were just adding a little production, for the kids with Heather Hayes. And she was like, hey, can I bring one of my co-hosts? I said, yeah, of course, and that was Baron James at the time. And she said, can I bring some cameras? I went, no, I don't have any media there. Anyway, and so it was hilarious because they came with the cameras, shot the deal. We did our thing with the kids, hanging out with them in the bar again this year. And we go into the studio. This time, all the guests go into the movie theater, not just the parents, but we go in, we get introduced to the kids. Heather's up there making this little production for us. And 2 hours later, we're coming out of the theater and we're back in the bar to hang out with the kids some more. That sounds so terrible for some reason. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Studio Movie Grill, the way it's designed, it's not necessarily really the bar. The bar is there, right?
Yeah, the bar is there. Yeah, and it's kind of separate, so
Yeah.
it's kind of the bar area. And it's funnier when I say the bar. But anyway, so we're out there. We get out there. Movie's over right about 10 o'clock. So we're all back out there. And I hear one of the kids scream, "Oh my God, we're on TV." And we're looking up. They had already had it edited down and airing it on the 10 o'clock news.
Wow.
And all the kids were freaking out. "Oh my God, we are superstars." And they were like freaking out. And I literally thought to myself, uh-oh, what'd I just do? I go, I can't not do this anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did take a hiatus in 2007, 2008 because of the financial crisis.
Sure.
And, so I had kind of buried my head in work because I was brand new in real estate. And that was when the housing crisis hit, or lending crisis, I should say. Anyway, so, and then 2009, 2006, was it 2010? I finally got back on track and then brought it back to life. But this time we were at Winspear Opera House.
Yeah.
We upped our venue because we had outgrown. And so in 2010, we had 400 people. We had Kent Rathbun, the Iron Chef, and all kinds of reporters from all channels. Usually you get one channel and that's it. But they were all showing up to be on the red carpet with these kids. We had, a number of, local celebs. Oh, international celeb, Earl Toon from Kool and the Gang shows up to escort some of the kids. So, I mean, it was crazy. But that time it cost money, so we had to go out and raise money for the venue. Yeah. And it was one of the big chefs. I forget his name. Anyway, so, I mean, it was a big event. Oh, and the Blue Man Group was performing that night. And so we got them to give us front row tickets for all the kids, or like the front section. Even the blind kids were like, "This is amazing."
Yeah.
And they couldn't see, but they could just feel the energy and of course, feel all the music and everything else that was around them. So, I mean, that was incredible what happened that year. And then our problem was each year we go, "Oh, that was amazing. Next year, what if?" And then it was, what if? And then 11, oh, well, let's get all the kids and their families hotel rooms for the night so they can really feel crazy,
Yeah.
Because many of these families don't have the opportunity to do stuff like that,
Right.
And so to give them hotel rooms was another great addition, but another expense, but we got most of it donated. But anyway, so, I mean, and then the following year in 2012, then we launched in Fort Worth, and we were doing Dallas and Fort Worth in the same year, different events. Because that Trinity River runs kind of deep and red, so, and it's funny how the Holy Spirit comes over you, because in 2011, after Earl Toon gets up and performs some cameo, number with Jason Ashley, I was so stoked, right? And we were just in Dallas at the time, but I was so stoked about the event and crazy. And this was, I want to say, in May or something like that. And when I was saying goodnight to the crowd, I go, "Thank you all for coming out." I said, "Come out to Fort Worth in September for Night of Superstars Fort Worth." And I was literally in the back of my head going, "What the hell are you talking about? You don't know anybody in Fort Worth." I'm going, "And now we're going to launch in Fort Worth in 3 months? What? Or what are you talking about? Shut up." But it just came out of my mouth. And you were the one who really spearheaded Fort Worth for us. And so that kind of went from there. And so we did Dallas and Fort Worth, what was it, 3 or 4 years? And then we decided to merge them. Yeah, because it was, that was insanity. So, but anyway, that was, I
So
lost track.
when is the event this year?
Rabbit hole. Sorry.
Was that?
I said, did I go down another rabbit hole?
No, not at all. When is the event this year in Dallas?
November 7th.
November 7th. Yeah, it's usually a Saturday evening.
Yeah.
Right? Love that.
Always a Saturday. Yes.
Yeah.
November
Let's
7th.
see. I'm looking. I want to see. A red carpet carries a certain kind of attention.
Mm-hmm.
What had to be true for that attention to feel honoring instead of performative?
Well, I'd have to say the main thing is the fact that we have to select a handful of superstars out of the nomination process.
Yeah.
You know how it was in the beginning when we were shuffling 20 kids on the red carpet. And that was obviously before we started doing the superstar documentaries and airing those, presenting those at the event. But we run through 20, 25 kids, and it really wasn't fair to the kids because we'd have to sit there and read through all of their achievements. And a lot of people don't understand. We would love to put every special needs kids on the red carpet for the feeling aspect. But a friend of mine was like, and that's kind of what we were doing in the beginning, is to make these kids to understand, hey, you're accepted. I don't care. Forget the bullies or what you might think. You're amazing. You're beautiful. And one of my good friends, she was like, Greg, I have to tell you this, but because she worked at Lighthouse for the Blind, and so she was nominating kids or suggesting kids to be on the red carpet. She goes, Greg, this has to be more than just making the kids feel good. They don't want to be, they nor their parents want to be honored because for their cancer. They don't want to be honored because they're blind. They want to be, there's got to be substance there as to why you're recognizing them. It's just getting to that point now.
Yeah.
I thought you're absolutely right. We don't put kids on the red carpet because they have, because they're paraplegic or because, they have spina bifida, whatever it is. So we started with the nomination process. And so we get the nominations in that come in through school teachers, other superstar parents, nonprofit organizations, some medical facilities. And so they nominate. The nomination process, you have to excel. You have to have a life-changing condition, obviously. But you have to excel in academics, athletics, the arts, community service, those type of areas, one or more. And, and so we have to look through those nominations and sadly select just 5 of them.
Well, and the kids don't know they're nominated, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
no.
That was one. Just to clarify for the people watching, they don't know they're nominated.
Yeah, the kids don't know
right.
by any means.
Share some of the accomplishments. So when you think about the kids, and I know there's been so many, but what are some of the accomplishments that got them on the red carpet?
I always go back to, again, and this is not in any order. It's just because all of their accomplishment, and I'm not saying this as a disclaimer to smooth it out, but I mean, so many just incredible stories. The one of the first ones that really stood out from the rest, because you do have different levels, but they're all amazing in their own way. But anyway, the one was Superstar Cody. And I know you remember him. He had, at 15 months, his legs were amputated. Why, I can't remember, but he had to have his legs amputated, and he was at Scottish Rite. They had fitted him for so many prosthetics, but even at a young age, he was already running, marathons and stuff like that. He was actually featured on Oprah. And so we have little clips of that. But anyway, so Superstar Cody grew up and he became a world-class swimmer. And we're not talking Special Olympics. We're talking like competing around the world with kids with legs, right? And he would trounce them. I mean, he was just an incredible athlete.
Yeah.
Anyway, so not only did he excel there, but he also volunteered for his mom's. He was a great philanthropist. He volunteered for his mom's adoption center. He volunteered for the Keller Senior Citizen Center. He was literally a straight A student, which was phenomenal in itself because of the fact that he spent a lot of his school days, months, cumulatively. He spent many of his school days in the hospital because there's a lot of gastrointestinal stuff that goes on when you're paraplegic, sitting a lot, or when you obviously amputee. I can't speak intelligently on that, but all I knew is he spent months out of the year in the hospital, and yet he was a straight A student. And I'd ask his mom, "How in the world does he do that?" I probably have my only achievement in school was a perfect attendance, but I was a C student at best, because I was just average effort brings average results, Anyway, I'm like, how does this kid do this? And, well, he had tutors and stuff, and he was just really dedicated. I was like, man, that's insane. So he was doing all this, but he was also invited to the Vatican to receive a humanitarian award of some sort.
Wow.
And then and the kid is so humble. I was telling Dr. Raymond King about his achievements when we were at a pre-event. And he just he was 16 when we inducted him. Right. And he kind of like shook his head and kind of like, he goes, well, that was when I was 14.
Well, I haven't done enough since I was.
I know. I'm like, I was probably in my 50s already. And he was like, I said, yeah, I get it. I was 50 and I was actually invited to the Vatican never. So, and he's like, that's when I was 14. Forget about it.
Wow.
So that's one. And I have obviously hundreds of stories that could tell of, and it's not just physically, it's neurodiverse kids. Tommy and Jimmy Crisp, two twin brothers, both autistic. And they both now have their engineering degrees. Tommy is working for the city of Dallas as a civil engineer. And they're just killing it. And they're autistic. And when you speak to them, they're autistic, but they are such amazing, freaking brilliant kids. And Tommy just bought his first house. So
love it.
I was his realtor.
I'm like, it might've been the Crisp brothers that I saw out and about in the Gaylord Hotel on a little scooter thing.
I don't know.
They were something.
I don't know. But we have so many stories, and that's why this event literally, I think, is better than any Tony Robbins event by far. And you might be able to, Tony Robbins is, go me. All right. And a great self-help motivational speaker. I think this is the best self-help gala or seminar you could ever attend, because these kids are literally living examples of how we should handle adversity in life.
Yeah. Adversity
causes fear, stagnation, setback, because of the fear that it instills in us, the adversity. What happens, and I think adversity is the only thing that really impedes our joy and our happiness, and how we treat others around us is how we deal with adversity. And so these kids are living examples of how we deal with that adversity and to accept it and go,
Yeah.
well, that happened. Not why it happened. That happened. What do I do to move forward from here? And accept it as adversity is our friend. Comfort is the enemy of progress. And with when you see these kids, and not only kids, but the parents behind them, or sometimes knocking down doors out in front of them, or barriers. But when you see them and you see the level of joy, if anybody should be pissed off at life, at God, whatever your force is, and be resentful, mean, these are the people who should be like that. Even like I said, even the parents, they are, but they're all joyful. One thing I find about these type of kids and their parents they're all faith based, and the fact that you have, again, they're having to deal with these issues on a daily basis, which far outweigh any of our adversities, sometimes within a year. And we want to sit and piss and moan about the things that aren't going our way. And what happens, we waste valuable time exponentially, carrying bitterness, anger, resentment, self-pity. That if you take that adversity and embrace it and go, how do I get better? How do I move on from here? And you think, well, I had a death in the family. How am I supposed to get over this? You use that pain and you use it to help someone else.
The best way to get out of your own head is to serve others.
Yes. And it's trust me, I've seen plenty of parents of special needs kids who are angry, entitled. None of our superstars, but they're a whole community and they're just like us. And what sets them apart and what makes these kids so absolutely successful for a greater success level than I've ever performed. And I'm not being humble about that. I'm going, I don't want to put in that much effort. I don't, these kids just outwork, and it's because of their ability to embrace their adversity and not be angry, not be entitled. That's the secret to success, is dealing with adversity. Because if you remove adversity from our life, then everybody is going to be happy around us. You're going to feel motivated to do this and motivated to do that. You can't remove adversity. However, if you change your attitude towards adversity and learn to embrace it and learn the lessons out of it instead of pissing and moaning about the inconvenience it caused in your life, or how everything's, some things are devastating, granted, but you still have to treat that with the same amount of respect as any other bit of adversity. But if we remove the adversity, if we embrace it and go, oh, great, this is amazing, I learned this much, or this hurt, but I'm moving forward and I'm not looking back towards it. You remove adversity, that's a pretty happy life.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned most from it. And it's crazy because I cannot remember a bad day. I can't remember. I've had some challenging days, a lot of challenging days, but I really can't remember a bad day. And I've lost family members. Those were sad days. It just wasn't a bad day. It's just,
what a great way to label it. the impact that this charity has had, it's also created community.
Yeah.
You know, being able to be there every year and support the kids and, highlight them. You allow the alumni to come back and walk the carpet.
Of course.
And this community of people, these parents now have, like-minded parents they're able to connect with. The kids are able to connect. It just reaches so much farther even than just, I don't want to say just Night of Superstars, but that's the reality, right?
Yeah.
It's bringing people together where when you've got proximity to other people who want and create, right, the how-tos, not the why-nots,
Right. Yeah.
you get momentum.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You get momentum from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we end up with more alumni walking the carpet than we do new superstars.
Well, we have
They
5
wanna
new
come support the new
superstars,
kids.
but then we have, 25 alumni. Everybody's always welcome back. I don't care if we had 100 alumni on there, but
Yeah.
they get to open the show on the red carpet.
Yeah.
And so we introduce them first, and then we introduce the new class of superstars. I don't know if we touched on it. I might have, but the net pro, since we're 100% volunteer run organization, 100% of the net proceeds goes towards the kids' scholarships. And whether it's, again, trade school, life skills training, university, whatever it is. And the reason that's important and these funds are crucial to these kids is because they're not eligible for federal student aid. And because most of their parents, a lot of their parents look great on paper. They make 150, a household income of 150,000 a year. And so that knocks them out.
The medical bill.
I don't know what the minimum or the max or the minimum is on that, where you don't qualify for FSA. But the problem is that these families have their insurance. No surprise what a nightmare insurance is, but they don't cover a lot of the prosthetics. They don't cover experimental meds. They don't cover travel to. It's like Jacob last year who got struck by lightning. He had to go to Germany for special treatment that was only available there, and the travel there, and then the cost, the expense that insurance isn't covering. And again, therapies, the kids with, let's just say autism who have special speech therapist or whatever it is. A lot is not covered by insurance. So these families that are making $150,000, $200,000 a year are actually living paycheck to paycheck, sometimes having to take out equity loans on their homes. If they even own a home, and forget a college savings account. They have to liquidate all kinds of things, especially families. If a child is born in a certain way, that's one thing, but because parents are trying to figure it out, but that doesn't help with insurance, whether they're born with it or not. But these kids who are like Jacob, who was struck by lightning and paralyzed, dead for 45 minutes and then revived. Wow. Anyway, he graduated after missing so much school. He still graduated as salutatorian. And then, but anyway, I get off on these kids crazy. So the problem is that this empties their parents' bank accounts.
Yeah.
And so they're either living paycheck to paycheck or just in serious debt. And so, but because they make so much on paper, they look good on paper, they can't get federal student aid. And so these kids don't even have a chance to get into their first semester of college, have to sit out and maybe go to work, so it's right now we're giving them, we're able to, because we have so many kids getting, aging into college now, we doled out about $2,500 per superstar, anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500. And that's a great springboard for sure.
Yeah, you'd love for it to be more, right?
But my goal, literally, and we're not that far away because we have to raise enough money to host the event, number one.
Right.
And then what's left, we can dole out in scholarships. My goal is to be able to give them each $20,000. And we don't give them, obviously, they tell us which school they're going to, and we put into their account, so we're actually giving to the schools, not to the kids. But anyway, so if a kid is going to an in-district 4-year school, with 20 grand, they can, if they're living at home, of course, they can definitely get a 4-year degree out of that. Now, if one kid wants to go to TCU, well, we'll write a check to TCU and they can pay for half a semester. And that's up to them, So it's to the college and the trade schools of their choice.
Well, you also have internship programs for a lot of the volunteers over the years, right? With these superstars. One of the things we were talking about before we went live was just what is taught in school versus what's reality in life.
Right.
And my opinion, and our son's in education, the school system in general is designed to teach people to go become employees. And our country was built by entrepreneurs, right? And business owners. And I know that a lot of the volunteers for Not a Superstars are entrepreneurs and business owners, right? Tell us a little bit about the different types of internships that you've had available to the superstars.
Oh, I'll just give you one because, again, I could go off on a rabbit trail on that one alone. But we had the CEO of Tracy Locke, which is one of the biggest, international advertising agencies. And he was escorting superstar Maddie, and she was interested. She was blind and hard of hearing, legally deaf and legally blind. Her dream was to, go to college and learn animation and marketing. And so we paired her with the CEO of Tracy Locke. And so they took her under their wing, had her up at their corporate office. I don't know how many times, and developers were showing her illustration and, all these different programs. And I mean, it was just amazing what they did for her. So but we have professionals in just about every industry I can imagine. So if our superstars would like a mentor, then they're able to, we can definitely pair them. That doesn't mean they're going to be shadowing you, 24/7, obviously, but
no, mentorship is just that. There are certain touch points, there are opportunities to
college guidance counselors, because they can go, well, this is what how I went through college. I can show a shortcut, and suggest classes, and every once in a while, maybe have them up at the office and let them see what a day in the life is like. That's one of the things we just love about this, is that we have a huge network of professionals that are willing to give of their time to help really shape these kids.
Well, and I think besides moving it to other cities, which clearly we've dropped in the comments, people on how they can contact you. The other element is they can get involved. They can donate to the cause, please. Right? They can donate, they can sponsor a child, they can sponsor the event. They can also have an internship program potentially, right? Depending on what the vocation is. Because I know our superstars have gotten into a lot of different areas. Owning businesses, marketing, the arts, etc. So before we go, I want one last question before we, I'm not going to ask you that one. That one's going to upset you.
Just out of curiosity, which one was it?
What part of this work has required the most growth from you personally?
Do you want that one from me, or is that my last?
No. We're gonna go to because I think you shared a good bit of that too. When a superstar walks off that stage, what do you hope they carry with them long after the event is over?
Number one, opportunity. Again, the scholarships, won't go into that as to why the scholarships are important, but yes, the scholarships and that opportunity. But we also the opportunity of of more diversity in the workplace, because we have, well, we have some very prominent business and community leaders in our audience in the 700. We have, really impressive people. And so when the event itself actually shines a spotlight on the talent within the disabled community.
Yeah.
It's really eye-opening. I had no idea. Let me tell you, I'd hire probably a disabled person before I'd hire anybody else if they had basically the same quality, because I don't know, they just love to show up to work. And from what I've seen, they're superstars. They're literally overachievers. And for the business leaders to actually be exposed to that type of talent, going, well, we want that. When that kid graduates, I want to headhunt them for sure. So that type of opportunity. And then the last thing is, again, for the kids to walk up that stage, knowing that they have such a deep impact on countless people who haven't even met them, but have heard their stories. And knowing that you have such an impact on those around you, it just builds more confidence, so those are the three basic things I want them to lead with.
Yeah, I love that. Greg, thank you for making the time. I know we can't wait till November to see each other.
Yes.
So everyone, thank you for tuning in. Greg Johnson with Night of Superstars, and we'll see everyone next week.
All right. Thank you.